Welcome to Class 5. By now your artwork will really be taking shape and looking pretty detailed. This class we will go through lip details and the chin area, tidying up the ear, and drawing some beauty spots. When coming back to the mouth after blending all the other features, we want to darken that center line and make sure the contrasted areas stay sharp. It's also a good idea to do any last bit of shading or darkening before drawing any fine details, or they may get lost if you shade afterwards. Then we'll move on to sketching the fine hairline strokes which form the crevice shapes in the lips. The stroke is very similar to drawing eyelashes, so make sure each stroke movement ends up in the air and off the page. Here I am darkening the center line as mentioned before. I may repeat this process a few times whilst drawing the details down. Sometimes I'll notice mid-stroke that a little more darkness could be added, so I do tend to jump around a little on adding details and creating depth. It's not exactly a linear process, but more of a gradual building of shaded layers, details, and dark areas for contrast. Aim to keep your strokes slightly different lengths, thicknesses, and directions. No two strokes should look the same as there really is no consistency in the cracks formed in the lips. If it looks too perfect, then it will look less realistic, as opposite as that sounds. Here I'm really loosely sketching in those squiggly crack details. I feel like the cracks in her lips are too strong to draw them fully. This is sort of where I would take some creative license and choose not to fully render the dried lips detail. I think about 70% of the detail in the lips will be realistic enough, but feel free to work on it until they're fully rendered to perfection. It's completely up to you how far you want to take it. When I'm drawing the cracks on the bottom lip, I try to draw each stroke directly besides a strip of white area. The reason for this is because it will create the effect of the skin of the lip, which is highlighted, dipping into a crevice, which is darkened. Repeat that same process across the whole bottom lip area. As the lip detail is building, use your blending stump to blend in the strokes a little bit. The pencil strokes are a tiny bit too harsh, so blending them afterwards really softens them out and makes the strokes look more like soft cracks in the lip. Here I'm going around the mouth and smoothing out the shading to blend in nicely with the nose above. I'm keeping the pressure really light and patiently watching the layers build. Try not to drift too far across into the skin or cheek area, as this territory is best blended using the tissue. If you've added heaps of extra shading around the features, then it's best to return with the tissue and make sure it all blends nicely into the skin area. For the rest of this clip on the mouth and nose area, I'm basically focusing on touching it up, redropping more graphite to darken those dark areas, and maintaining that nice level of contrast. As I've mentioned previously, it's a back and forth process which will have you swapping around your tools again and again until you're happy with the details, shading, and blending in that area. For a beauty spot, start by lightly shading the dimension using a blending stump. This is a really gentle feature, so try and get most of the detail down before drawing with the pencil. After the detailed pencil work, use a blending stump to soften the pencil strokes.